Politics, commentary, entertainment, sports, news, and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
What I will say is, again, diversion, subterfuge. Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi. Why aren't we talking about something else? Whatever was in that, what I know of what I've read in the press about the that those emails were very consistent with what was put out there before. I don't think there's anything new there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there she is. Sorry to disappoint you, Congresswoman Pelosi, but you're going to hear Benghazi, Benghazi, Benghazi in your sleep. You're going to hear so much about it. Joining us on the Malzberg panel is Seton Motley, of course, the founder of Less Government and the chief analyst for LIGNET, our friend Fred Fleitz. Hello, gentlemen.
Good to be here.
Hello.
All right, let's start with what happened today. Fred, of course, John Boehner finally going for the select committee on Benghazi, and John Kerry being subpoenaed by a House committee, which will take place before the select committee meets. So this is going to really, really heat up.
The whole debate has changed, and what this is going to allow the House to do is to stop the administration from using what I call the jurisdiction game. What the Obama administration does is that when when documents are requested, they only provide them to the Committee of Jurisdiction, which means that the Foreign Affairs Committee can't see intelligence cables, the Intelligence Committee can't see State Department cables. This resolves that problem. It also creates a committee that can take depositions and do an in-depth investigation. It's a major, major development.
Yeah, Seton, you know, I just can't wait for the sight of the parade of people that'll be called before this committee as we head through the summer and the fall.
If I may paraphrase Nancy Pelosi, Trey Gowdy. He's going to be up in their face incessantly. He's probably, if I were to pick somebody, you know, he'd be my first choice in the House of Representatives to do this. So yes,
he is great.
He's fantastic, and the points my partner here just made are exactly right. They've been able to pigeonhole different documents to different committees, and their peas aren't allowed to touch their carrots. Well, now this is going to be one investigation, and he may be able to clarify this for me. Don't they get all the different documents already collected from all the different committees as part of the beginning of the special counsel?
Yes,
Fred, they do.
They will get everything.
So everything that's already out there, they'll get, plus anything else that they choose to subpoena. Let me ask you this, Fred, before we get to, you know, where we are now and what we now know based on this email and the testimony of the general yesterday. Is there, and you know, maybe you could address this, maybe you can't, but legally, do you fear that some of these people will come before the committee and claim either executive privilege or national security? You know, we can't have this out in the open. It's got to be behind closed doors. Do you see any of that happening?
I think there's some significant legal problems that lie ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them claim executive privilege, some of them claim the Fifth Amendment, and some are going to claim that this is being investigated by the Justice Department, so we can't talk about it.
Wow, that's Seton. That's a significant amount of legal roadblocks ahead.
My thinking is why plead the Fifth when you can say this is an ongoing investigation? We don't comment on ongoing investigations. I think the third item he offered also, well, it's being investigated. We don't comment on ongoing investigations. So I would recuse myself, but I won't comment on that. I'm afraid that's going to be a whole lot of what we see in our very near future.
Well, let me ask you this from a political point of view, Seton. If Hillary, you know, claims national security, whatever she says, I doubt she would take the Fifth, because that would doubt you can't run for president if you just took the Fifth. But if she doesn't answer the questions, what does that mean for her going forward?
Well, she would definitely, you know, say this is an ongoing investigation. I don't want to step on Eric Holder's toes. It does look bad if she, you know, I mean, because if the only quote we get from her on Benghazi is, "What difference at this point does it make?" You I know if she's called up to testify, she's going to try to undo or try to mitigate the damage she did to herself with that quote. But again, I don't see how she can without being revelatory, which would be damaging to her if she decides to run in 2016.
What about it, Fred? As far as Hillary goes, do you think she is forthcoming, or do you think she's one of those problematic people that you alluded to that will, insert legalese into all this?
I think Hillary's pretty fast on her feet, and it will be hard to catch her. But this committee will be effective, I think, in nailing down the fact that she knew very well that this was a terrorist attack and misled everyone in her original testimony to congressional committees and when she spoke publicly right after the attack in September 2012.
All right, let's Fred. Let's talk about what. Let's go to what the general said yesterday. That they're trained in the military to run to the sound of the gunshots, run to the fire, and a great point was brought up by somebody I was speaking to today. There was no time limit on this. In other words, the military, what we've heard was, well, we didn't think we could get there in time. We didn't know when this attack would end, how far it would go, who might be in danger. So it's not as if, we got 10 minutes to get there. Was the general convincing yesterday, in your view, that we absolutely should have sent people there to help?
The general was very convincing, and I got to tell you, Steve, that I was convinced by the Senate Intelligence Committee report that there was nothing more we could have done militarily about this. And that was a conclusion that was agreed to on a bipartisan basis. Then the general said this is a very important piece of information that the media is ignoring, that the Select Committee has to look at.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Seton, very quickly.
Yeah, I do think that the testimony yesterday is damaging and will be amplified a great deal by the Select Committee.
All right, stay where you are, gentlemen. We are going to come back with part 2 of the panel. As is known, the president held a press conference earlier today with Angela Merkel, and I know a lot of people, like me, were hoping for a Benghazi question of some sort, but he had it written down who he was calling on, and I don't know, the skeptic in me says maybe it was off limits, but certainly nobody that I saw asked any of those questions about Benghazi. It was all about NSA, all about spying, all about failure to reach an agreement with Germany on surveillance. We'll talk about that when we come back right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Don't go away.